And greetings, everyone. This is Terry Naturally with another edition of Terry Talks Nutrition. We're here every weekend, same time, same station. You can't miss us. We're here for you and to help you understand more why you are, and you only, are responsible for your health. No one else. Not the government, no drug companies, and not even your doctor is responsible for your health. And none of them can make you healthier. What you do every day, every decision you make, every choice as to how you live and you create your lifestyle choices is the choice of you. You make the choices. You make the decision as how you want to live. Now, the choices influence as to how you live healthy or unhealthy. Disease does not come randomly. God is not mad at you. It's your choices. It's not a gamble. Some people will fly by, some people will not fly by having a disease or cancer. We put ourselves in a position, and by the choices we make, whether or not we're going to be healthy or unhealthy. So that's why we're here. I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm not a doctor. I have no medical degrees, no chemistry degrees. I search, and my team searches for all of the information that we can bring to you that can influence your health on a positive method, that you can be healthier. I don't care how old you are. I don't care what disease you're facing. With the right choices, the right diet, the right degree and level of exercise, the amount of sleep, the amount of sunshine, and the positive attitude that you have regarding your condition. You know, being a naysayer, I'll never get rid of this. I've had this all my life. I'll probably go to the grave with it. You know, that's not a positive message. Your brain hears every word you say. Your subconscious mind continues to wrap its around what you're saying to the degree that influences what happens. You know, how many times have you said, oh, I knew that was going to happen. I thought about that so many times. I knew it was going to happen. Oh, I had a dream that I was going to do that, and it happened. You can influence your health in so many ways. Don't speak bad of yourself. Don't use negative words at all. I know that I have this problem, and I know how to get rid of it. I know I'll always be healthier. I know I can get healthier every day. I feel healthy. I feel happy. I feel terrific. Those are the words you want to use every day to change your life. And then combine it with a healthy diet. Drastically reduce sugar, and maybe no sugar at all. And reduce your carbohydrates, because 95% of the carbohydrates consumed in America and available in America are refined and processed, ultra-processed, stripped of all the nutrients. And all the carbohydrates are not just carbs. The only way they can be metabolized in your body is converting them to sugar. So carbs are all sugar. Starch is all sugar. Potatoes is all sugar. All the underground roots and what we would call vegetables under the ground are starches. And they convert to sugar. We're eating a ton of sugar a year. Well, don't take me literally about that, but you know what I mean. You're eating a lot of sugar. Well, it is up to 200 pounds or more sugar per individual per year. So that is, to me, a ton of sugar, because you're eating way, way too much. Now, read the labels, because you may not even have a sugar bowl at home. You may not even buy sugar, but every package you buy And most likely every bottle, every can of food you buy has a ton of sugar in it. There are not a ton, but I always, you're eating so much sugar you don't realize it. And you're eating a lot of carbs. Switch to animal proteins, good quality animal proteins, as rare as possible when you cook them. And healthy oils, not seed oils, or what was at one time called vegetable oils. There are no vegetable oils. They all come from seeds. And the seed oils are high in omega-6 fatty acids that cause inflammation. You want to get rid of inflammation. You don't want to have more. But the American diet is a pro-inflammatory diet. That means it makes inflammation in your body just by the sheer fact of eating those foods. Sugar, carbohydrates, seed oils are all pro-inflammatory. You are making inflammation every day by eating these kinds of foods. Now, all disease, arthritis, joint pain, back pain, headaches, are all associated with inflammation. Why do you want to buy a drug or even a supplement to take away your inflammation when you are making inflammation every day by the way you live, by the choices you make, and the lifestyle that you choose? 98% of all disease, including inflammation, is caused by our choices, the way we want to live. Now, maybe you didn't know this, but now you can change this. Don't say, I didn't know that. Now you know that. And I have a ton of it. There goes that ton again, meaning a lot. I have a lot of information to talk to you about healthy hair, skin, and nails. And a lot more information. So we're going to talk about, our featured topic, though, is going to be a maki berry and other nutrients for beautiful hair, skin, and nails. We'll also talk about another cancer is on the increase in young people. People are getting cancer at a younger and younger age. And what about dark chocolate? Good or bad? Well, what about milk chocolate? And how about your hands and feet? Sometimes a spouse will say, oh, get your cold feet off me when they're in bed. Why do we get cold hands and feet and sometimes get numb from the cold? And then we'll talk about pain relief for dogs. They are our best friends. They give us unconditional love. They never get mad at us. They never argue with us. They're there to love us. I have an Australian Shepherd that I love, and she is such a sweetheart. How about nutrient deficiencies in people with type 2 diabetes? What are they missing? What nutrients are they not getting? And can hot flashes make you irritable and anxious? And lung cancer is not ever going to go away unless we stop smoking. But never a smoker is increasing lung cancer as well. And what about dry eye problems? Well, we have a lot to talk about. And we probably never get through all the subjects we have on hand. And I want to remind you that these are not my choices. I'm not making this stuff up. I'm reporting the news. I'm reporting the science. And if it sounds good to you, think about it. Even pray about it. And then maybe you want to include it the way you live. These are all scientific references. We don't give you my opinions or anybody else's opinion. And if I do offer an opinion, I will tell you this is what I think. We're going to talk about maki berries and other nutrients for beautiful hair, skin, and nails. This is going to really improve the quality of your life. So think about it, that you might want to add maki berry to your supplement regimen that will help you improve the quality of your hair, nails, and skin. Maki berry. The only country I know that it comes from is Chile. Maki is a tree, however, with edible berries. It grows wild in the southernmost tip of South America, in Chile, in extreme weather conditions. And that sometimes creates the best food, especially fruits and vegetables. The hardier the weather, the stronger of the berry and the vegetables. They have to produce nutrients to withstand high levels of sun exposure. In extreme weather conditions, they grow stronger and healthier and more powerful and provide more nutrients and more polyphenols. And when they have wide temperature swings, it really creates a strong berry. And it contains a very important plant compound called anthocyanins, including delphinidin. All of these anthocyanins are very powerful antioxidants. Delphinidin is the most powerful antioxidant of the anthocyanins. I have not been able to find fresh maki berry or frozen maki berry. I would like to try them in my protein drink in the morning, but I have not found any. If you ever come across maki berry, I found freeze-dried powder, but I have never been able to find the berries. If you know where they are, please let me know. You can write to me in my website, TerryTalksNutrition.com. Go to where it says Ask Terry, and that is a space for you to communicate with me. If you have a question, of course, I'd be happy to answer your question on anything. But you can also say, Terry, I just found maki berries, blah, blah, blah. Just tell me where they are. Research has shown that the delphinidin protects skin cells from free radical damage caused by exposure to ultraviolet rays, excessive sun. Delphinidin is also an anti-inflammatory and protects against cancer. Now, blue light protection. A recent study found that the average person is exposed to 11 to 17 hours of artificial light daily from LED lights and screens. A study in fruit flies, a typical model of aging. Now, you might laugh when I say fruit flies. You know what they are, especially if you drink a glass of wine. You always have these little flies flying around. Those are fruit flies. And they use them even in drug research. Not just a study for natural supplements, but they do it actually for drug research. And this study in fruit flies, which is a very typical model for aging, found that chronic blue light exposure accelerated aging and shortened lifespans. Blue light exposure is also linked to retinal damage, skin damage, photoaging. Maki berry extract protects against the damage and the damaging effects of blue light exposure. Screens, TVs, phones, games, all kinds of blue light exposure. Maki berry standardized for the delphinidin content reduced oxidative stress levels in cells exposed to blue light by over 50%. Now here's a clinical trial on maki berry. In cell studies, the delphinidin from maki berry reduced melanin production, which causes age spots. Some people call them liver spots. They're not liver spots. They're age spots. By at least 50%, reduced by 50%. You want to know how to get rid of those brown spots, those age spots on your arms and hands? You can do that by at least 50% and also reduce inflammation in connective tissue by 60%. In a randomized, double-blind, placebo-controlled study, adult women took 60 milligrams daily of maki berry extract, standardized for the active compound, for 8 weeks. And the results of this study: skin brightness in the participants taking maki berry improved by 10 points. And the red spots and discolorization decreased by almost 50% versus the placebo group. No cream has ever done that. No cream has ever been able to accomplish what maki berry can do orally. Not topically, orally. Take it internally. So when it gets into the bloodstream, it can circulate through your entire body. It's like putting a cream on your entire body. You ever think of that? You buy a very, very expensive cream, and you dip your little finger in it and you put it on your brown spots. But when you swallow nutrients like the delphinidin, it gets everywhere if it is absorbed into the blood, and it is. And additionally, older participants saw an increase in collagen scores. Collagen is what keeps skin firm and supple. Now, there are more nutrients for the hair, skin, and nails, such as aronia berry extract. It is also a very strong antioxidant that protects skin cells from UV damage and has been shown to increase collagen production. I love aronia berries. I have 150 bushes in my backyard that I intended to use as much as possible, but with my work schedule, boy, they sure have a lot of work to be done, all the weeding and trimming and pruning, and oh boy, I'm not a farm boy, and I'm not really good at it. So my other work certainly takes precedence over maintaining my bushes. But I'm happy the berries that I can freeze them and use them in my protein drink. You can also buy them in health food stores. You can also buy them from some online sites. They also found that postmenopausal women with hair loss who were treated with millet seed oil, you know what millet is? Some people call it bird seed. It's a cereal, a very excellent cereal. And there's an oil in the millet that does help those who are losing their hair. In fact, there were research done in Japan that they were treating cancer patients, women who were losing their hair, with millet seed oil. And it stopped the women from losing their hair during chemotherapy. 91% observed a reduction in hair loss. 78% noticed faster hair growth. 75% observed an increase in hair brightness and beauty. A woman just sent me a very wonderful testimonial. She's in her 80s, and her hair is just beautiful, almost all the way down to her waistline. Beautiful, beautiful hair, and she's in her 80s. But she uses these nutrients, the combination of these ingredients, and maki berry. So you can pair these botanical extracts and these ingredients with vitamins and minerals that promote keratin production for strong nails and hair growth. Vitamins A, E, vitamin B2, vitamin B6, SP5P, folate, biotin, petazetic acid, and zinc and silica, and the amino acids L-cysteine and methionine. You have a whole formulation of nutrients that can prevent hair loss and beautiful hair like you've never seen before. We hear from so many women that are using a combination like this And they say once they've gone to their hairstylist, the hairstylist will say, "What are you doing to your hair? I've never seen it so nice, so long, and so strong." That you can change. Everything about you can change. When you do something positive to your body, you do the right things, and you make the right choices, every part of your body will gain. Every part of your body will gain. When you treat your joints, your whole body is going to be better. But now we have a really big problem ahead of us. Another cancer on the increase in young people. And this is gallbladder cancer. More young people are suffering from gallbladder cancer. Colon and bowel cancer, breast cancer, and lung cancer are all increasing. What are we doing, folks? Increasing in young people. Cancer used to be associated with the elderly. After 80 or 90 years, they would find cancer. My grandfather lived to be 95 years of age and wasn't feeling good. The doctor found he had cancer of the stomach. And he passed away at 97. When he was 95, he was diagnosed, passed away at 97. Now that isn't what I would want to see in my grandfather, but that was the way it was years and years ago. Now we're finding cancer in young people in their 30s and 40s and even younger, in children. We're not on a very good trend of health. By the year 2050, 25 years from now, it has been predicted that everybody in the United States will be obese. And new study reports that rates of rarer cancer, like gallbladder cancer, are also increasing dramatically in people under the age of 50. The gallbladder releases bile into the intestines to aid digestion and to improve the elimination. Researchers in England reported that gallbladder cancer, the cases of gallbladder cancer in people aged 24 to 49, listen to this, have increased by 85% since the 1990s. Look at the food we're eating today. Pretty much garbage. Yeah, it satisfies your hunger. And it tastes good. And a lot of it will have sugar in it to make sure it tastes good. But it's ultra pasteurized, ultra processed. All the things to do to destroy the food that we are eating. And while some people have no symptoms, others will note bloating, nausea, indigestion, and abdominal pain when they have cancer of the gallbladder. And as with other gastrointestinal cancers, poor quality diets are the cause of cancer. You know, if you eat wrongly, doctors can't help. And if you eat rightly, you don't need a doctor. Now, that's my opinion. There's no research on that, but when we eat right and really do the right things, we will not need a doctor as often, or maybe not at all. But if we eat the wrong type of diet, you can't out-supplement a bad diet. You can't have a prescribed medicine when you are not eating right. It doesn't make sense. Food is our medicine. It will always be our medicine. It has been our medicine for millions of years. Now the garbage that we are eating in the American diet will only influence bad health. So now the stress, the lazy lifestyle that we live, the bad food, poor quality diets are highly correlated with the development of gallbladder cancer and as well as all other cancers and disease across the board. So stay right where you are, my friends. I've got to take a quick pause here for some commercials to be run. I'll be right back. Don't go away. This is Terry Talks Nutrition. I'm Terry Naturally. And if you want to know more, now we're together an hour, but go to my website, Terry Talks Nutrition. Subscribe to my newsletter. I'll send you a new newsletter on science every Friday and how you can be healthier, happier, have more vitality, have more energy, feel better, and not have the diseases that we have. And you can drop most of your prescription drugs along with your doctor's approval. So back right after this. And welcome back, my friends. This is Terry Naturally with our second portion of our program. We'll be here to the top of the hour. More coming your way to make you a healthier, more energetic person. If you're suffering from chronic fatigue, you don't feel any energy, you're tired all the time, and you can't sleep well, and you're challenged with many unhealthy conditions, or maybe one major unhealthy condition. However you're living, you can change your life. It's not based on drugs. It's not based on a doctor's prescription. You can make the biggest change in your life. You. So start doing things now, and not 5 years from now or 10 years from now when you really, really are in bad shape. Then you're grasping at every straw you can. Do it now. Change your life. Yes, you're going to have to sacrifice some of that garbage food that you get pleasure from, but it's killing you. Ultra-processed foods is killing you. Killing America. We need to make changes. We need to bring back the traditional diet. You didn't see fat people in the 1970s and 80s. But 30, 40 years later, 50% of America is obese. That's grossly overweight. And by the year 2050, they predict everybody in the United States, if we do not change the way we are living, everybody in America will be overweight to the degree that they are obese. So we have good things coming your way in the second portion of our program. So let's talk a little bit more how we can do things together and improve the quality of our life. This is something that we really want to make sure we can do, that we can have the ability to make that change. So here's a little bit of information that you may not have known. Dark chocolate. Why not milk chocolate? Doesn't that sound better? Milk chocolate? We know that milk is good for us. I sure hope somebody starts selling raw milk someplace in Wisconsin. I think I want to be able to have my choice to drink raw milk. But they say it's dangerous, that you could have side effects from it. You could have some bacteria, Listeria, E. coli, if it's not taken care of and pasteurized to make sure all the bacteria is killed. You know, it's dangerous, they say, to drink raw milk. But they say it's dangerous to drive a car. And it's dangerous to fly. And it's dangerous to do a lot of other things too. But we drive, we fly, and we do all the other things that are dangerous. Go to some of the amusement parks. Ugh, I don't think I could even do that anymore. Go on some of those rides. Ugh, I'd never make it. So I want my choice. My choice is raw milk, especially raw goat and raw sheep. They are a better quality of milk overall. I hope somewhere, sometime, someplace that we can go back and drink raw milk. I have talked to a lot of farmers. And of all the farmers that I've talked to, 95% The farmer and the farmer's family drink the raw milk, drink their own milk. Is it that dangerous? Is driving that dangerous? Is flying that dangerous? Of course. Life is dangerous. But if you do the right things and you buy from the right farmer and you know the farmer, milk can be just as delicious raw as pasteurized. And now they have ultra-pasteurized milk that you don't need refrigeration. You can put it just on the shelf in the store. That does not seem healthy to me. We have killed with all the heat. The temperatures go up to 175 Fahrenheit for 30 to 40 minutes. That kills everything. All the nutrients in the milk, the enzymes in the milk. Raw milk does not spoil. It's clabbered. It's like yogurt. But pasteurized milk, when it rots, it sours and turns bad. You wouldn't want to drink it. But raw milk, when it's clabbered, it's like yogurt, like kefir. So why not milk chocolate? It sounds like it should be really good for us. Well, dark chocolate has many health benefits. And also, can dark chocolate prevent type 2 diabetes? Well, here's some scientific research that looked at 30 years of health data from over 190,000 adults. A long year study, high population study. So you're getting some very, very good data from a long-term study with these amounts of adults. They found that people who ate at least 5 servings of dark chocolate a week had a 21% reduction in the risk of type 2 diabetes. People who ate the same amount of milk chocolate had long-term weight gain and increased the risk of diabetes. Well, milk chocolate is out of my diet. Never did eat it. I like to look at the 90 and 100% dark chocolate. It's a little bit on the bitter side. But why are we eating food? Because it makes better sense. It gives us better health. It provides better nutrients. And it reduces so much of the risk of many diseases. But you can drop the dark chocolate down to 70%. So dark chocolate with a high percentage of cocoa, usually at least 70%, is what I would recommend. And maximize the beneficial antioxidant flavonols and minimize the calories because you're not eating sugar that you usually find in milk chocolate. Milk chocolate is very high in sugar. Dark chocolate minimizes the calories and minimizes the content of sugar. Now, why do your feet and hands go numb in the cold? Well, your hands and feet are extremely sensitive to cold. If your fingers and toes go numb and white when exposed to cold, even mild cold, you might have Raynaud's disease. Raynauds. This condition is caused when the body over-responds to cold. Blood vessels in the extremities narrow, so less blood flow, less blood supply, and cutting off, really I should say, not just tightening, but cutting off the blood supply to your hands and feet, toes, fingers. So what helps? Well, actually managing stress. Is one study reported that 30% of attacks are associated with stress. Not a change in temperature, stress. And how many people have stress? I can see you all raising your hand. Look at the world. So some things that you can help to improve the quality of your life and reduce stress. How do we reduce stress? Well, we'll always have stress, but we can actually eliminate the feelings of stress. We can reduce, we're always going to be struggling financially. We may, I should say. I don't like to say we will. But we may be struggling with financial situations. We may be struggling with relationships. We may be struggling with a challenge of cancer or disease. We all are facing stress at some time or another. How can we reduce the effects of that stress situation, that it doesn't take a toll on our body? Well, there are 2 herbs that I really like that can help reduce stress. Ashwagandha. Ashwagandha is an Indian herb. It's one of the most, right now it's the highest purchased herb in America, maybe the world. But ashwagandha in botanical medicine is the #1 herb bought today. And the best one I found is ashwagandha concentrated at 35% with phenolide glycosides, the active compound of ashwagandha, and echinacea and gustifolia. I know you're going to say, I take echinacea for my cold and flu. That's because that form of echinacea is standardized for the polysaccharides. The polysaccharides are plant sugars that are found in the plant echinacea and gustifolia. But there also is a group of compounds that are found in the same plant but are not polysaccharides, but they are referred to as alkaloids. The alkaloids affect the brain. They calm the brain. They reduce the excitability in the brain. So the alkaloids, very powerful. About 20 milligrams to 40 milligrams once or twice a day, or doubled, until you reduce your stress. It takes the edge off stress and depression. And the ashwagandha, about 60 to 150 milligrams of ashwagandha. Now you've seen higher ones like 500 milligrams, but it's the standardization that makes a lower concentrated ashwagandha much more valuable and higher quality. Then you want to think about, how do I keep my veins and arteries healthy for more blood flow? Well, vitamins A, D3, and K2, the combination, very valuable for healthy arteries. And grapeseed extract for blood flow, for reducing high blood pressure, for supporting cardiovascular function, supporting the heart. And how about red sage, another great Chinese herb? Actually, it's not grown in China, but it is a Chinese herb, but it is grown in Europe hydroponically in water. So it doesn't need any chemical sprays, pesticides, or any other bad solvents. Red sage increases nitric oxide. That means it opens up the arteries for more blood flow, which helps keep the veins open, the arteries open, and better circulation. I've talked so much about what we should be doing, but now here's one for the dogs. How do we reduce pain and give dogs pain relief? Well, prescription medication kills dogs. Let me say that again. Prescription medication kills dogs. Kills dogs. There's an arthritic medication that was approved for the use in dogs in 2023. Librela. Librela. RIBRELA. And since 2023, reports of side effects including seizures, paralysis, fatigue, and muscle weakness so severe the dogs had to be put down. It's such a shame when we give dogs drugs that they get so many side effects from the drugs that they have to be put to sleep. We're robbing them of their lives. I have an Australian Shepherd. She's turning 16 this year. She's never had a drug. The only thing she's ever gotten is a rabies shot. And she's the best food possible. No scraps. All good food, all good water. I feed her like I feed myself. Now this drug works by blocking a pain signal. Yes, animals will feel less pain. But actually the development on similar drugs in humans was stopped because of safety concerns. But not stopped for dogs. The drugs were not stopped for safety concerns for dogs. While the number of dogs who experience the worst side effects is small, anyone considering it should carefully consider the risk and benefits. These are our loved ones. I consider my family. I know you do too. So be careful if you are prescribed this drug for your dog. Think about it. While you can relieve joint pain in dogs without any adverse effects by giving them a combination of curcumin and boswellia, these two herbs have outperformed all the NSAIDs, the anti-inflammatory steroid drugs, and Celebrex. Celebrex is one of the most prescribed medication drugs for pain and for arthritis. And curcumin and boswellia were studied head-to-head with Celebrex, and curcumin and boswellia were more effective. And even when the studies were done, those that were taking curcumin and boswellia had a longer carryover of pain relief than the drugs. As soon as the drugs were stopped, pain came back. So be careful what you give your dog. Now, why do we have nutrient deficiencies in people with type 2 diabetes? What about hidden hunger? Micronutrient deficiencies. A study published in January, another scientific study, another scientific report, that people with type 2 diabetes may not realize they are very likely to suffer from deficiencies in key nutrients when they have type 2 diabetes. Another great study. Studies are always better when they're a very high population and over a long time, so you get a lot of data that you can sort through and determine better results. Like if you use 5 patients for 2 weeks, you don't have enough data. And this study that I'm going to share with you, the researchers collected health data from over 50,000 patients, 50,000 people with type 2 diabetes, and collected in the last 25 years. This is a gold standard study. And the results from this study, 45% of the study participants were deficient in key vitamins, minerals, and electrolytes. 60% were deficient in vitamin D. Now listen, if you have type 2 diabetes, you may be one of those that are deficient in these nutrients. So that means it would improve your quality of life by including these nutrients, and you may be able to get off your drugs and medication if you are on some. Also, there is a plant that grows in Central America and Mexico called Hintonia. Hintonia is researched in Germany, and there are quite a few studies on Hintonia in regards to reducing A1C levels and type 2 diabetes in adults in 6 to 8 months. Now, 60% were deficient in vitamin D as well. 42% were deficient in magnesium. 28% were deficient in iron. And 29% were deficient in vitamin B12. And the deficiency rate was even higher in people taking the drug metformin. So the drug can also cause you to have a reduction in some of these nutrients. Well, ladies, not only are you getting hot sweats and hot flashes, but did you know that, well, you probably do know because you're experiencing it, but do you know that hot flashes can make you anxious? Anxiety and hot flashes are connected, meaning that if you have hot flashes, you may also have anxiety. Not always, but many women do. In fact, 50 to 75% of women will experience hot flashes during menopause. And some of the other changes that occur as estrogen levels decline are anxiety, insomnia, otherwise sleep disturbances, cognitive changes, can't think, can't remember, not able to pick up new learning skills. You just loss of memory, short-term memory, and also depression. Anxiety makes the heart race and increases self-consciousness, which makes the appearance of hot flashes even worse. A recent study on women found that women with high levels of anxiety had 5 times as many hot flashes as less anxious women. So I get from this is that when you reduce the anxiety, you will reduce the hot flashes. Can you reduce the anxiety? Yes, you can. Reducing and relieving menopausal anxiety. There are 2 herbs that have been found very effective in reducing anxiety in women and therefore reducing hot flashes, not just the opposite. Black cohosh and rhodiola help with mood and hot flashes during menopause. In a clinical study, women had 71% reduction in menopause symptoms plus increased energy. Additionally, these natural medicines can safely relieve anxiety and depression. We've talked already this hour on echinacea and gustifolia, reducing anxiety. It's a very special herb, but you have to get a very special extract of the herb because echinacea can also be used for cold and flu. And it's based on the polysaccharides that are found in the plant that reduce the risk of cold and flu, or actually cure cold and flu faster, reduce the side effects. But the echinacea and gustifolia, which contains other compounds called alkaloids, has been shown to reduce anxiety safely and effectively by taking 20 to 40 milligrams once or twice daily. And the plant saffron, the most expensive spice in the world, has been shown in a clinical study to reduce hot flashes and depression after 6 weeks of use. What I would suggest, and this is my opinion, Take 265 milligrams of saffron along with curcumin twice daily to reduce depression, anxiety, and therefore you will reduce your hot flashes. Very interesting study. I think it's well worth trying this combination. Would be very, very effective. Black cohosh and rhodiola. You can also use Echinacea angustifolia of the type that is used for anxiety. And saffron and curcumin. These are some choices of natural medicines that reduce your anxiety, not having to take a drug to do so. Well, my friends, the clock on the wall says that I should be out of here in a few seconds. So I'm going to take the last few seconds to remind you that it's all your choices that determine your health and determine the side effects that could cause a disease or face a challenge that is difficult to overcome. But you can by changing your choices. So that was, my friends. Say a prayer for this crazy, crazy world. God bless you, and God bless this great country.
Thank you for listening to Terry Talks Nutrition Weekly Show. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a review on your favorite podcast platform, including Apple, Google, and iHeartRadio.